Hey guys, I got a new video for you today. Now, I've been getting some requests lately to do more paracord videos, so I figured I'd go ahead and do another one. And also, I've been getting some requests on this particular type of weave in a paracord bracelet. Now, I showed this bracelet a couple of videos back when I did my new carrying system for my paracord when I go to the gun shows and stuff like that. And there was a lot of people that wanted to see how this one was made. Ever since that video, there's been a couple videos that have come out showing the same exact style. So I just kind of wanted to throw mine out there to show you guys how I make it. This is something that I just, sat down around one day and started tying and came up with it, and I thought it looked pretty cool. As you can see, it obviously has two colors, and this one is red and the blue. And then you have a color on the bottom and a color on the top, so it almost looks like the color on the top is riding on the one on the bottom, so it's pretty cool. Now I make mine obviously with the 3/8 buckles here. So it's the one thing you do have to remember about this bracelet is that because it's basically one on top of the other, it's going to be a lot thicker when you wear it on your wrist. So in other words, it's going to come up higher than a regular Cobra stitch bracelet will. So it might be a little uncomfortable for some people. So depending on what you like your bracelet to fit like and stuff like that, just keep that in mind. Now, I mentioned this before in my videos, I don't edit my videos, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start one off so you guys can see how it starts, how you start it, and start weaving it. And then I've already started one, so I'll go ahead and finish that one so you guys can see how to finish it. So here's two examples of them. This one's obviously like a neon green and black, and this was in blue and the red one. So a couple of things that you're going to need is obviously a good sharp knife or a pair of scissors, a lighter, and whatever size buckle you want. Like I said, I use these 3/8 curved buckles. That's what I normally use for my bracelets. And then your actual paracord pieces. Now the centerpiece, what I normally use is I use a 2-foot centerpiece. So basically this will give me enough room, and it'll even have a little extra just in case. But it'll give me enough room to make anywhere from up to about an 8.5 inch bracelet. So there you go. Then the two colors of a paracord. In this case, I'm going to use this kind of burgundy scarlet color and black. And basically what I use is I use 7 feet of each color. And that should give you enough to make anywhere from an 8.5 to a 9 inch bracelet. Alright? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and thread the center cord in through the buckle. Now, normally I like to keep them together. That way it doesn't, I don't lose it or anything like that, the other half, if I set it down or whatnot. So what I like to do is I like to come in from the bottom and then just kind of pull it through and do, a cinch there. Now, I did want to address one thing. I've gotten a lot of comments before on my other paracord videos, that I should be using a paracord jig. Now, if you do use that, it's great, but in most cases, I don't tie my paracord sitting at a table or anything like that. Normally, I'm in my couch or I'm sitting on the floor or something like that. Maybe I'm not in an area where I can have an even surface, a flat surface, so that's why I don't use it. I don't knock it or anything like that. It's great, but this is what works for me, so just keep that in mind. Alright, now this is where you're gonna start your first tie. The key thing to remember is whatever color you want to have to come on top is the one that you're going to tie first. So in this case I want the burgundy on top, so that's the one I'm going to tie first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it out like I would start a regular Cobra stitch paracord bracelet. You find the center and then you just start, you do your tie. And I'm not going to sit there and teach you how to do the paracord or the Cobra stitch. This is obviously past that point, so if you want to learn how to do the Cobra stitch, there's other videos to do that. I don't want to take up too much time. So this is normally how you would start it out. So you have your first stitch there. So what you're going to do is set that down, and then you're going to find the center to your next color, and it's going to be the black one. And then basically what you're going to do is do the same thing, but obviously in the reverse. So now you're going to have your first stitch on the other side, and I'll show you guys how that looks in a second. So basically what you have is you have the first stitch on one side, the second stitch on the other side. And then now the process is pretty simple. What you're going to want to do is the one that's on the bottom, you're going to throw them back so it doesn't get in the way. And then you're going to do, basically tie a cobra stitch on top of the other one. So obviously you got your knot on this side, now it's going to go on the other side. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to push that stitch to the back, and that basically is what adds the width of the actual bracelet. That's what makes it ride high, but it also, you know, makes it look like it's riding one on top of the other. Alright, so now you got it right there. And you're going to do the same thing on this side. Since you had your first stitch on this side, you're going to do it on the opposite side. So you come on this side with the black one, with the one underneath, and you tie that. The key thing is you always want to keep on tying them tight so that it looks uniform. Alright, so now you got your black one. The next one's going to be the burgundy one again. As you guys can see, there's a little gap right in there. So you want to tie it as much as you can so you don't have any daylight showing through. So now it's going to be the burgundy one again. So you have it on this side, you're going to go to the other. And if you guys can tell, you're already starting to see that pattern. Alright. So now you got the burgundy, now you're going to do the black. And again, it's going to go on the opposite side. Trying to keep it in focus and in the center so you guys can see what I'm doing. So you push everything, you cinch it down good, make sure that everything gets tied together. So now you got the black, you're going to do the burgundy again. Alright, and if you guys can tell, you're starting to see how the black is sitting on the bottom and the burgundy on top. And you know, you can play with different colors and stuff like that, because you know, from the side it looks pretty nice too. You can see the different colors on the side. And then on top, as you guys can see, you can kind of peek the black in between, so it almost looks like there's a line of black going down the middle. So it always makes it look really nice, especially if you choose some nice color selections. You know, something that's maybe dark and then another one that's bright, so it'll pop through. You know, obviously in this case, the black and the burgundy are pretty dark colors, so you're not going to have that much color showing through and stuff like that. But that's you know, I wanted it to look like that. So obviously, as you guys can see, it's you know, it's starting to take its shape. On the side, you guys can see, you know, one on the bottom, one on top. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this one aside, and I'm going to show you the one that I had already started. This is the one that I had already started, so obviously the black and the blue. So this gives you a little bit better shot of what it looks like. You know, you can see the blue is a lot brighter than the black, so you can see the differences in the two. You know, that's the opposite side, and that's the side that I would wear. Now, because the buckle curves, you know, I can only wear it one side, so I don't have to look like this. But I have shown you before, I do have some straight buckles, so that makes the bracelet more reversible. And in this particular case, you know, maybe something like that, like a straight buckle would look better, because you can actually wear it either way, depending on what color you like. So for the most part, you know, I've gotten to the end where I'm going to start finishing it off. So as you know, as I told you before, I like to keep the buckles together. So now, you know, I'll take it off. And in this case, I'm going to feed it through the top as opposed to feeding it through the bottom like I did when I started the bracelet. Make sure you burn the ends of these. It'll make it a lot easier to fit through the hole on the buckle than trying to feed it with the you know, the inner strands kind of rambling around. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bend it and then just hold it on the bottom of the bracelet right here. And then you're going to continue doing your ties, but since you're holding it at the bottom there, once you do the first one, that's actually going to hold the centerpiece in place. So you guys can see there, if I tie it tight, see now this is cinched in there, so it's not going to go anywhere. All right. Finish off a couple of weaves here. Right, tie it there. Do another blue one. And you do have a lot of strands in the way, especially when you start getting to the end. So just make sure that you're obviously tying the right ones You're not tying one of the center strands on the outside or anything like that, because then obviously that's gonna not come out correctly. Alright, so for the most part that's how you would finish it there. Yeah, you know what, I have a little bit of strand left, so let me do another one, see if it'll fit. Alright, now in this case, I can go ahead and finish it there, but I want to go ahead and make sure that the black is the last one, so it matches up here. So what you can do is, because it's just cinched in there, you can actually start pulling on this and it'll give you a little bit more, you're taking from the extra slack. And that's why I always like to make it a little bit bigger, just in case you do want to play around with it at the end or anything like that, you can do so. So I'll do one more with the black. Alright, and as you guys can see, there's a little bit of slack there, so now you can always pull it back, so that'll cinch up the buckle right there, and now it's it's flush, so you're not gonna have any wiggle room or anything like that. Alright, so that's pretty much the finished piece. Now the last thing to do is go ahead and cut off the strands. So like I said, a good sharp knife or a pair of sharp scissors. So you cut it off and then you just burn the ends there. Trying to keep this in focus in camera. Alright, so burn the ends. Then I just use the lighter to kind of flatten it. Then you're going to have a couple of them to cut. Remember that. It's not like the regular bracelet where you just cut 2 of them. There's going to be 4 in this particular style. So I'll burn the ends here. Push it there. There's nothing protruding. Sorry about that. Okay. Like I said, I'm sorry this is a little boring, but I don't edit the videos. I show everything how I do it. So if you guys are pretty much comfortable with how it's done, you can just end the video here. Because this is pretty much, the bracelet is for the most part finished. And then the last thing is to cut the strands here. So I'll just put it up there, cut them off. Then I like to burn the ends of this one too, just to make sure that they're set in place. Okay. And let me move this out of the way. And there it is. There's the finished product. Just so you guys can see. Pretty interesting combinations, with the colors. Here's the other ones. And for the most part, let me go ahead and throw this one on so you guys can see what it looks like when it's on the wrist. Alright, there you go. So as you guys can see, it does sit a little bit higher on the bottom too, so if you were to put your hand down or something like that, it might be uncomfortable. But it looks really nice when you see it in the wrist, because the 2 colors really pop. The blue in between, but you can also see it on the sides here. So it's not like when you do a regular 2-tone paracord bracelet cobra stitch, where you're just going to see the 2 colors in here and you don't see anything on the side. That's what's really cool about this one. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's a little long, but let me know if you guys have any questions. All right, thanks.